ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kale Architects. Today, we are going to have a conversation with one of the founding members of Superpool, architect Selva Gurdogan. Their work has been displayed in several world-renowned museums and galleries, including Guggenheim, New York. In this session, we are going to talk about public place architecture, as Superpool has done numerous projects on it. Hi, Selva. How are you doing?
Hi, Mariam. Nice. Thank you for the invitation. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. So, Selva, could you please tell us about yourself? What made you choose architecture as your profession and how it had been for you?
Hi, I'm Selva. I'm an architect from Istanbul, and as a kid, I always imagined to be an architect. Not that I knew a whole lot about what it meant, but I studied architecture in Istanbul Technical University in Istanbul, and then finished my studies at SciArc in Los Angeles in 2002. I worked as an architect at Office for Metropolitan Architecture for 4 years, both in Rotterdam and New York. And then I've started my own practice with my partner in 2006 in Istanbul. So it's been about 15 years of running Superpool since then.
Okay, that's great. So could you please tell us about public place architecture, like how important it is for the community and how do you go about it?
Yes, we have, when we arrived in Istanbul, it was interesting for us. I hadn't lived in Istanbul for 7 years. Greg is my partner, he's from Denmark. And so he was first time also both living and practicing in Istanbul. So we started our practice with doing some research work. So initial projects were mostly mapping projects. We did a kind of a map of the Dolmuş minibus system, which is kind of these informal paratransit bus services in Istanbul. And also did a book called Mapping Istanbul. And these sort of projects were first of all for us to understand the city that we will practice in. But they also attracted other institutions, mostly art institutions that wanted to commission works. You also in India know, I guess with a lot of attention was given to these big cities like Istanbul, Mumbai, Rio in 2010s. And I think, so we got involved in visualizing, imagining what the future of Istanbul could look like. We did a show for MoMA that looked at uneven growth in cities, also including actually colleagues from Mumbai, and also how the urban future of work. So all of these projects asked young architects, which we were at the time, to imagine their cities. And slowly the more we did these kind of exhibition projects, research projects, we also started to wonder what it would take to get those projects to life. Because of course it's exciting to imagine the future you dream of for your city, but then if you don't know how to put it into reality, it's actually quite a depressing moment to realize, yeah, you know, I have all these dreams, but I don't know how to get them to happen. So in that sense, we started working on collaborations with district municipalities and municipalities to see what we could take to become hopefully real projects. And many of these started with actually playground projects, which it's always easy to start with playgrounds in a way, because everybody wants to build one. And then slowly, and it actually is a lot of effort to build one. It's not so easy. But that conversation and that trust we developed together with the municipalities led to other issues that we wanted to talk about, like mobility, like also programming of public spaces, etc. Yeah.
Right. So what, in your opinion, is a successful public place and what makes it successful or unsuccessful?
Yeah, I think that question is a very important question, and it changes from place to place. What is a successful public space really differs a lot with each city and its own culture and climate and use patterns of a place. So I think I kind of imagine when I look at a place and if I can project myself in that place and imagine myself comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
then I I kind of wonder what are the what are the conditions that make people comfortable. And these have been researched quite a lot in urban spaces, like how the edges are treated, if the people have, the noise level, the activity level, if there are other people in the same space, can, there's a lot of parameters that actually make a place comfortable. And in some ways, maybe women or children are more indicative of, if you see a lot of women and children and elderly in a place, you can kind of assume that it's actually a good public space.
Mm-hmm.
And where you don't see them, you can kind of assume it's not a good public space, because the more vulnerable are not, or let's not say vulnerable, but the more picky users are not finding it attractive enough to be there.
True.
So this could be one criteria, for example.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. And you have done several projects and a lot of research papers on public places, right? I was looking at your portfolio. So, which one was your personal best?
I think the recent work we are doing together with both NACTO, which is a NGO from North America, and a district municipality here, Maltepe, which is my favorite, I think, recently, which was basically a transformation of a intersection inside a neighborhood, a very quite dense neighborhood for Istanbul standards, with not so much open space. And we took out six cars, six parking spots, basically, and to turn it into a public plaza.
Okay.
And we intentionally did this in two stages. The first stage was as a kind of pop-up, or done with just paint, and it was meant to last for 3 months. But because of the pandemic, it took much longer than that to do the actual construction. But I think that whole process of being in a neighborhood, painting like kind of doing data collection in the beginning, having interaction with the neighbors on a daily basis for almost a month and a half, while we got the pop-up ready, and very intensely in 1 week, where we were actually painting together. And then now, after almost a year, we're doing the actual implementation. I think that whole process is one of my favorites. Not that the quality of the work is like amazing design work. I think sometimes, if I have to choose between things that are wow, amazing design pieces versus really amazing processes where you include people and build together, I think nowadays I choose a collective effort over finished amazing design work.
That's amazing. So, Selva, coming down to the current situation, how do you think this pandemic is going to affect the usage and perspective of a public place? Like, will it bring about any changes or no?
I hope it does, though I think it will take effort to advocate for that change. We see, I think, both trends, that people use more individual forms of transport, and sometimes this is sustainable forms like walking, biking, and other types of micro mobility, and sometimes it is cars. And I think it will take effort to promote public transport again, and I think mobility will play a big part of this this change. People. So hopefully, what it will mean is actually there will be better a realization that there needs to be services close to people's homes. That neighborhoods need to provide a lot more civic facilities, and not rely on people traveling for them. So hopefully this will be the trend, but I don't think it's going to happen just by itself. So we need to keep advocating for it, that this pandemic has showed us the importance of these things. We need to advocate for that need. Otherwise, it's too easy, I think, for a lot of people to decide to just drive and make public space even, and all the, of course, investment to go elsewhere than immediate needs in neighborhoods and public spaces.
True, true, true. That's true. So, anything else you would like to add to this?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that perspective and facilitating these conversations. I mean, we've been quite interested in dialogue between cities, whether it be that in Pakistan, in India, in South America. I think there's a lot that these big cities have to learn from each other. And I thank you, Kale, for facilitating this conversation.
No, it was great having you here. Thank you so much for enlightening us. It was really wonderful to have a conversation with you, Selva. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.
Stay safe.